you can actually preset intros now, so I'm no more like, oh wait, shit.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
go.
back.
We're back. It's episode number 122, Evan.
122. Moving on up. Moving on up in the world. This should be a fun one. This is gonna be our first Skeleton Crew review where it's just one episode. You know, last week it was 2 episodes. So we'll see how far we can go talking about one episode of Skeleton Crew. I'm always saying that I'm just prefacing because, like, again, we spent like 90 minutes over like a 30-minute Acolyte episode. So we'll see how far we can go with the 40-minute Skeleton Crew episode.
Evan, never leave me again. Never leave me by myself because.
Oh yes.
Because I was so bummed. So like I record on StreamYard anyway. Mm-hmm. So like I had it like off to the side and like I had like my big old full view and I was like, okay, yeah, ready to go. I hit live and I'm just there like,
oh.
I didn't know that. I thought I was all in the clear. And so I'm like, I'm in the episode, we're going. And there's even like a couple points because sometimes I'll see like somebody come in, like it says like the number of viewers. So someone could have told me, didn't. And I'm just sat there. And I do like check-ins and I'm like, hey, we're at like 10 minutes and, you know, stuff like that, you know, for anyone tuning in live. Nice, quick, easy, fun. And then I look over and I see like, the little black bar message that's like hidden by the media player. And I'm like, wait, hold on. And I click over and it says, your mic is muted. Because it will sense when you're talking, but your mic's muted and it tells you.
Yeah.
Oops. So about like until the last like 7 minutes of this episode, I was muted.
That's brutal. You went live like around exactly 9 o'clock, was it, on the dot?
Just about, yeah. Just about.
Okay, yeah. I was busy watching. Like there was a 2-hour Survivor episode, and I saw that you went live. And last time I clicked on it for a little bit, you know, give it a like as everybody should.
There's probably a moment where I'm just like,
off. Yeah. I was like, maybe I should click on it just to like leave a like this time. But I was busy watching. I was in the heat of Survivor, so I didn't have time to just click on it. So I just clicked on watch later, and then I get a message from Nathan saying it was like muted. I was like, oh, it's like these little decisions. I could have just watched it and gave you a heads up or something. But what did you end up doing though? Did you go back and rewatch it or what?
No, I didn't because authenticity, baby.
Is it still up there though?
Yeah, the stream's still up there if you want to see me go. But
you're not going to delete a 30-minute muted video?
It's not entirely muted though because there's the ending that you can hear me. But you know, yeah, it is you know a little bit of an annoyance. But it would also feel weird to like restart the episode immediately and just be like, yeah, saw that.
Oh, now you can just commentary it. Now it wouldn't be live reaction. It'll
sure,
be but
sure. I think again for that authenticity, that's why I did leave it up. But you know, I'd be open to watching it again. Though likelihood, I'm just gonna head into the next episode. For now. But yeah, that was hilarious. You know, 9 years of YouTube, this thing happens. So 9, Jesus Christ, I've been consistently for
9 years and counting. That's crazy. But okay, now we're watching Skeleton Crew episode 3. Nathan, overall thoughts on episode 3?
Evan, I compared it to the last Airbender in the sense because you may be like, what?
Last Airbender?
Yeah, I compared it to that, and you may be like, what the fuck? But I was thinking like you remember the episode with the library underground.
Ooh, yes, with the owl. I forget the name right now.
Yeah, give me that vibes, like the way they were like charting the different solstice coming, and
yeah,
you know they were kind of like pinpointing the different star charts in here, and I was like, it's cool. And there's an owl.
Owls are always holding like that knowledgeable. I guess it goes on back to like Greek mythology, with Athena being like, you know, wisdom, and then her like insignia is the owl, which is wisdom. But
Socrates, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll Center?
Let's find out.
Crunch.
Dumbass cow. Anyways, not so dumb here. We met Kim. But yeah, I got the vibe of, I wouldn't say Last Airbender, but I get your comparison in terms of like fun vibe, kids discovering more of a mystery, and I'm continuing to like how the mystery is seated within the episode. It's not like each episode we get like an exposition dump. It's not like Craven. But but we'll talk about Craven on Monday, but there's some scenes I'm just like, just like ad nauseum. But anyways,
and then
I
it was
like
on with the spiders.
I like how the mystery is just like seated in a little bit. They're looking for information. Some of the kids are questioning like what their parents do. The owl tells them like 1 to 3 sentences about what Atten could be, and then they move on from there. But overall, yeah, I get your comparison really much there with the Avatar example, them looking for mystery, and then getting kind of like a, in Avatar they got like a ticking clock where it's just like, oh, now we really got to hurry up because of the whole Day of Black Sun scenario, which they learned there.
Yeah.
In this one, no ticking clock, but it intensifies their need to go home, which then intensifies their distrust of Jod, who half of them think won't help them get home, while Women Neil still think he will get us home. Overall thoughts for me, though, I do think Jod got the spotlight here, which was good, getting more Jude Law here. And I like, in the overall sense of things, I like they handled his untrustworthiness in one episode. It's not lasting the entire season of them being like, do we trust this guy? I don't know what he's up to. At the end of this episode, he's like, okay, fine. My name's Jod. I'm alone. I'm a nobody, basically, but let's make a deal or whatever. I like that they handle it now so they can move on, knowing this guy's untrustworthy. And where does Wim go from here? That's my little interesting note. And we mentioned it last week where episodes 1 and 2, we got a lot to deal with Wim. He's our main character. And of course, Neil, best friend to the main character. And we got Fern, the cool girl, who's kind of like a, second or third in terms of like most screen time. We didn't get much of KB, but in this episode, I think KB got a bit more of the spotlight. She's the one, along with Fern, who does not trust Jod. So I like seeing her more of the spotlight on her. We got some individual scenes with her, and I like that she's the one at the very end of the episode to cap off her little mini journey here in this episode. She's the one to really confront Jod about like, what is it that to do here? And I like that. I like getting more KB. I think she has a lot of potential to see here. Totally. So yeah, let's start off before we go deep into the episode. Let's do our little mini investigative Batman, world's greatest detective. Let's put our hats on, Nathan. What do you think is going on with this planet here at Atten?
Well, Evan.
Yeah.
We're about the exact same place as we were last week, if we're being real. But again, it's like we're not allowed to send transmissions out.
Yeah, we can't send transmissions out. That's against like the law, basically, as stated by the robots, the droids.
How 1984 are we going in?
That's the question. Ooh, I wish I pulled it up, but if anybody follows Molly Damon on Star Wars Explained, she posted like this behind the scenes clip of Skeleton Crew. I don't know where it was from, probably from one of the countless interviews from before the season. But there's a shot of Fern, Wim, and then Wim and Fern's parents, all 4 of them, and they're like looking up, and they're like in this room, and it's giving big, like, the big movie that just came out right now, big Wicked vibes, where they're looking at Oz or something. And I'm like, okay, so we see parents reunited with the kids. This is probably a scene from the last episode, maybe last couple episodes. I'm thinking to get home by the penultimate episode.
Okay.
Which is episode 7. So we only have like 4 more episodes to get there. But I think maybe even sooner. But I think episode 7 is my theory right now. But there's a shot of all 4 of them. Again, 2 kids, 2 parents looking up at something in like bewilderment. And I'm wondering, like, maybe this is what we learned this episode, the supervisor. And the supervisor is the one who is saying, as Nathan says, the supervisor does not want them to leave. I should have brought some water. Supervisor does not want them to leave. And they can't search for the kids. The droids explain they can't search for the kids because they can't leave either. They can't leave and nothing can come in. And again, the big keyword there was supervisor. So, and this is exactly what we said last week before we even knew the term supervisor. I'm like, is there some kind of Oz working here who's in charge of like not letting them leave? It's exactly what we theorized last week. So we're pretty much on the money. There is, because I was wondering, like, is there some kind of like AI or some kind of entity in control of these droids who's then telling the entity from Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning?
Part one. That's gonna be
now forever part one because it's Final Reckoning now.
It better just say Dead Reckoning Part 2 and then like glitch into the title or something.
Final Reckoning. That'd be cool. It won't. But it was, we theorized like, okay, there has to be somebody in charge of the droids. It's a planet. Droids don't just run autonomously, usually. And the droids in episode 1 and 2, we learned, as Nathan said, we didn't learn too much this episode, but even last episode, the droids were saying like, nobody can leave. There's a barrier, and ships coming in and out is like forbidden or whatever. And we were like, why are the droids saying this? Who's deciding that? We learned this week there's a name for the said person, and it's the supervisor, which leads me to believe there is going to be one. I wonder if it's going to be a big named actor or actress in charge of like who is supervisor. Is it?
I'm sure. At least say like B level at most, but
Yeah, I feel like we would have heard something by now, right? Like some kind of
Jack Black.
He's Jack Black. Yeah, Jack is back. So I wonder who it could be. In the days of Star Wars leaks and rumors, hopefully it doesn't get revealed. If it is somebody important, or if it's a brand new person, then coolio.
People did posit the thought, because these are these shows. If there is a character to return from the franchise into this show, what do you think it would be?
Like a returning character, we see it again?
Like, like a popular character that we all know and love popping into the series, cameo style. I saw a thumbnail of like 7 choices, and I was like, none of this works. But then I saw Chewbacca, and I was like, that'd be wholesome.
Chewbacca would be wholesome. He's too busy hanging out with Han, avoiding.
What are they doing right now? Neglecting Ben?
Probably. What is it? 6 years after Return of the Jedi. Yeah. Ben's 6 years old. Yeah, they're probably doing shit.
That is such a wild thought, Evan. Whenever we're watching these Mando shows, like, Ben's out there.
Ben's out there playing with toys, being tormented by the visage of Snoke.
By Palpatine.
By Palpatine, yeah. As a young boy. I really hope he lives, though. Because that would suck if he died,
Can we bring him back?
Every day.
5 years. Can we bring him back?
I'll go on my rant at the end of this podcast, because there's some... Yeah.
I turned into fucking what's his name from Succession? Kieran Culkin. I'm just like, is he Roman in there? Can we get him out?
Yeah, dude, it kills me. But what were the other choices? Because I can't think of a lot of people right now.
People like Lando or Luke again. I don't think Luke's being in here at all.
Lando would be cool, but like,
which Lando do you
get? Yeah, how do you do that?
Do you really need? Do you just pull Donald?
Billy D's still alive, right? He's still kicking.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Yeah, Billy D's not doing this. I think Billy D's done with Star Wars. To be frank. What else? Yeah, I can't think of, like, would be. Mon Mothma would be nice. Right now, she should be like setting up shop at the New Republic. I don't know where the New Republic is based at right now.
I mean, my half expected guess was Carson Teva was going to pop up, but given these X-Wings we saw didn't have him, I don't think he.
Thank God. Oh, there's more than
Why do
one
you hate
X-Wing
that man?
It shrinks the universe. It's like, how many X-Wing fighters are there? Is it just like 2 guys and it's Carson and some random persons? Like,
That is
come
fair.
on.
That is a fair thing to say. Well, we saw like their little station they were at. I mean, I'm sure that's just one station, but I was like, there's like 5 people here.
And we're gonna see it again.
And Zeb.
Yeah, it's gonna be Zeb. We're gonna see that place again in Mando and Grogu.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't think of because it has to be like Mando-verse people, right?
Yeah.
Or people alive post sequel trilogy, post OT.
Amelia Clark's back.
Please. You
think they pull some Crimson plot in the Skeleton Crew?
But I mean, this is a pirate show. So if a person was to come into this show, it would have to be pirate related. Dr. Aphra would be nice. But that would never happen.
I was borderline on the edge of my seat this episode. Like, I'm half and half. I was like, this isn't going to be anything. But at the same time, they were building up like, hey, I got a friend. I know her. She's really savvy. And I was like, if it was Aphra, I wouldn't be awesome. Mad.
That'd be awesome. And here's my daily, everybody go read the Dr. Aphra comics because they're the gayest and best Star Wars comic you ever read. It's awesome. It's freaking awesome. Written by Alyssa Wong, who is also writing the Psylocke series right now on Marvel, which is 1 issue in. At least I love it so far. And apparently Psylocke's really good at Marvel Rivals. So, so good on that. So yeah, as Nathan said, there's not much to go on, but the supervisor is the biggest question, along with we'll just cut to it right now. What Kim reveals to us, because Kim does reveal some stuff. She helps the kids out by narrowing down the possible location of Aten. It is a planet. It is not an actual myth, but has become myth because she reveals Aten was purposely hidden away during the Old Republic, which period right there. That already says is that Aten at least 1,000 years old? Base?
I imagine all the worlds are.
Right. I mean, sure, but 1,000 years of not having. Yeah, I mean, 1,000 years of not having
contact.
Contact. That's what I mean. It's
an isolated world for 1,000 years.
Yeah, that's not. That's definitely not normal.
But they have some knowledge of. Well, okay, yeah, it's the Old Republic, which they would just know as the Republic, I guess. So.
Yeah, there's always going to be a Republic. Republic has been a thing since, I guess, before the Old Republic. I don't know when the Republic was first founded. Anyways, I guess when Coruscant was founded.
What is a Republic?
James Mangold was like, maybe I should put that in my movie. So I wrote down my notes. Well over 1,000 years ago, they also Kim mentions Aten was one of the jewels of the Old Republic, kept hidden for their protection. Of the 9 worlds that were quote unquote the jewels of the Old Republic, only Aten remains. So there's a lot to break down there, at least.
Do you think the answer could be found, Evan, in the Old Republic stories?
No. I'm gonna say no. I don't know if the writers of the show are going deep Old Republic because
you think Revan involved?
Gosh, everybody wants Revan. So I was watching this one TV podcast, and they're like, "If you wanted to do a Star Wars show, what would you want?" And he was like, "I would love an Old Republic show." And I'm like, "Never gonna happen."
Answer.
It's such a basic answer. Oh, Revan. But anyways,
I'm so out of the loop with Old Republic as well because I don't know what it's about. I don't know anything about Revan. It's crazy.
One of the only Old Republic books I read. I read a lot, but I read the Bane trilogy isn't Old Republic, right? No. Yeah, Bane's 1,000 years after Revan. I think. Anyways, so the Bane stuff is very good, but I read the Revan book, just the book called Revan and Legends, and it's not very good at all. It's very bad and not well written, in my opinion. But it is kind of interesting in terms of like Revan's duology. He basically like secluded in prison for a lot of it, like at least towards the end of it. Anyways, I don't know if the writers of the show are going to dive deep into like the Old Republic outside of like recognizing that that's probably the era where the show, or at least where the planet is from. I think again the show wants to just focus on the kid pirate, the hidden treasure element. Now the question does now remain: is the hidden treasure related to anything Old Republic related? And for that, I still don't think so. I think they're going to make something up, something fresh and unique. So yeah, the phrase "jewels of the Old Republic" is something I don't think is. I don't think we've heard that before. I think "jewels of the Old Republic" is pretty new. And when she says only 9, or there were 9 jewels of the Old Republic, only 9 remains. I think what she's saying here is that like the other 8 worlds have been like lost to time, or at least like whatever. Ad is the only one, which is why it's so mythologized, or whatever the word is for, because it's like the only hidden jewel of the Old Republic, and it's a myth because it's the only one left, which makes it so important. Yeah, but it's the only one left in terms of the jewels. I don't want people to be confused. Like it's the only planet left from the Old Republic. It's just saying it's the only one left from the jewels of the Old Republic, I guess, which is just 9 important random planets that were valuable for some reason or another. And for that, now the question goes to, why is Aten so valuable? This then ties into what the kids were saying in a separate scene, where they were just eating dinner, eating that blue shit that John made for them.
That blue shit.
That blue shit. And they're like, do we believe people when they say Aten's home to a treasure? And Wim's like, I don't believe it. Like he immediately said, like, I don't believe it. Like there's no way Aten could be home to anything special. We've lived there our whole lives, and there's nothing special about it. It's the suburbs. But for that, we talked about episode 1 and 2, right? It's like there's a reason they built over this random starship, which had to have gotten there for some reason. Maybe it was also on the quest for the jewels of Aten, and whether there's something there or not, I think for the show to have any kind of like, you asked me this last week, is there actually going to be any treasure? I still think there is going to be some kind of treasure. I just don't know what it could possibly be. Gold is just too boring. Or maybe it is just gold. I don't know. I mean, it can't just actually Kuiper, that'd be fun. But like it can't just be gold, because the coins that the dad had that he just like gave out at this planet.
Well, they're old credits, right? They're Old Republic credits.
The Old Republic credits, but that was so valuable already to like the pirates there.
Yeah.
If the answer to that is like, oh, there's actually just more gold credits, like that can't be it. It has to be something.
Well, that's what I wondered, if it was like it's just the treasure has evolved into the full functioning economy of the planet. So, and then anybody who stumbles across this currency is like, this is very valuable currency.
True.
But also, if there's so much of it, is it really valuable anymore?
Exactly. And for the kids, it won't be. And I think for the show to work, it has to be valuable to the kids. And I think, using the meta of it all, again, outside of the show, the kids have to learn something valuable about themselves by the end of the show. That's like storytelling 101. But I don't want that like, hey, I learned to actually like be a grown-up in Wim's mind. I don't want that to be like the actual treasure of the journey. I feel like there should be some kind of fun with it as well. There should be an actual treasure that they're, like the Goonies, right? They found a ship. It was like an actual ship.
There's actual treasure. Yeah, they've gone through a journey. They themselves are changed, but also we did find treasure. They
did find treasure, and I think the biggest comparison to this show is Goonies. This is basically Goonies in space so far. With the kids are a lot less, eccentric than those kids, but like, I feel like there should be a treasure. Like Uncharted 4, right? Every Uncharted game ends with actual treasure. Some of it being cursed, but like there was actual stuff.
Now I played 3 Uncharted games out of the 4, and every time it was like we can't keep it. Fuck.
Yeah.
I did all this shit. I got shots. I died so many times for nothing. I don't know how 4 ends, but
Yeah, you should play it. It's my favorite one. It's my favorite. I
I
love
don't
your
know how
fun
4
first
ends, but I know they have a child. That's
Yeah,
probably just it. I know they play the PS4.
and the child's name is not Ellie.
Amazing. I think that's a really. I know like people have like questions if they're in the same universe. It's good that they aren't, because that's bad for Nate and the crew.
I don't want Nate to be like a. I don't want Nate to be like a walker, like in the 28 years later trailer, something like that. We can watch that again for the podcast, by the way. The 28 years later trailer.
Yeah, I got to see it for the first time last night, and
it's so good.
I was like, "Wow, this is weird." But it clicked for in a second when they were talking about days, and I was like, "It's gonna be weeks and then years." But I haven't seen the other ones either, so I have no connection to them.
I've not seen a single one. Mainly because like I've like even like when I tried to find it years ago, I couldn't find it anywhere. I could find 28 weeks, but not days. But
yeah,
Sony did.
I guess it wasn't available for streaming, and the physical media print stopped. But I guess they're coming now.
Sony did confirm that there is going to be a digital release, which is good. Hopefully, we could you can commentary it by the time it comes out next year.
I'm sure it's on pirate sites.
But I don't want to commentary on a pirate site. Shit might happen. I don't know.
Shit might happen. Yeah, that's fair.
It's like if we have viewers, it's like, hey guys, go to this weird link. You can watch it with us.
Whatever your methods are, we won't tell.
Right? Like, I like having at least a digital source so we can say, hey, go to this source if you want to watch it with us.
A nice HD stream.
Exactly. And if they choose to go to pirate site to watch it with us after that, the viewers can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, so let's dig into the episode itself now. Unless you had anything else to say about the mystery of N.
No, I think off the top of my head, my brain was kind of being inquisitive. Like, is there something from like old school 80s Amblin-esque stuff that they are basing on that can give hints to like what the greater mystery we're building to is?
And again, I think my closest thing is like just Goonies. Like, it's going to be an actual treasure. I just don't know what it is.
My brain went modern, and I was like, they're doing Stranger Things with the scientists.
Yeah. Also, I liked that one scene, again, going back to what the kids were saying about like what their idea was. Neil was like, what do our parents do? And this is exactly what we said last week. It was very funny.
Yeah.
Because we posited the idea, like, if they're so secluded, when they get these analyst jobs, what are they analyzing? They can't analyze files from other worlds. They're not communicating. The parents definitely aren't communicating with other worlds because I feel like the parents wouldn't be able to keep like this. All the adults in the world are keeping this huge secret from the kids. This doesn't seem likely. So they're just as lost as everybody else. And this episode confirmed it, where it's just like the droids are like, you can't leave. And the people are like, oh, that's weird. But episode, I guess starting off with where the episode begins, we do get the shot from the parents, which I do like. It's not just a kid's show. I mean, it's not just a show from the point of view of the kids. We are, with each episode, getting a glimpse at what the parents are up to. I still go with my theory from the first episode that we will continue to get what the parents are up to. And Vern's mom, Wim's dad, they will be our main source of like information for what the hell is going on this planet, while the kids continue to search for their way back home. So yeah, I guess they were all very shocked and upset. Like, hey, we can't go search for them. The droids are like, no, we can't. But I like the way they were shot too. Like, a shot from the back of Wim's dad's head, and while everybody else is like screaming in anger and surprise, he's like really much pondering it. Makes me wonder, does he know more than what's let on? There is a shot from the trailer where he's like talking to Fern's mom, being like very firm, like, we will find the kids. Like, so he's gonna be definitely on it. We talked about how he wasn't, dad of the year in the first episodes. But maybe, of course, kid being gone is going to jumpstart something within him, and for him to question his own reality on this planet. Because he seems to have an important job, and so does Fern's mom. So we'll get to the bottom of it on their end. Back on the planet, the Port Borgo, I think what it's called. The kids are immediately escaping. Made for a very fun sequence as they immediately escape. Wim's, of course, instantly like believing that he's a Jedi and he's doing all this stuff for peace and justice or whatever. But I like the comedy where it's like he beats up somebody right when Wim said, "Oh, they're fighters of peace," and just knocks out a guard or something. It's just like, already he's not very Jedi-like.
But isn't every Jedi like that right now in this period?
Yeah,
that's survival.
Exactly.
I don't recall many of the trailers for Skeleton Crew. Did Jod ever have a lightsaber in the trailers?
Nope. That would be a pretty big reveal if he did.
But, we
would have talked about that. Jedi.
Over under, he pulls out a red blade.
I would love that.
I don't think he's gonna be evil. I really don't.
Nah, he won't. I look at my notes. I forgot to mention back on the planet with the parents, KB's moms mention losing track of KB's life monitor. That's why they're so worried. And they say she has urgent medical needs. And that's why they're so worried about her specifically. I'm curious to see how that will play out in future episodes. If, like, for parallels, like if she's away without her inhaler, for example, like how is that going to work, and how are the kids going to fight for survival? Because so far it's been cozy. They're just trying to find the way back home. But if KB has some like medical needs, I wonder how that's going to help, or how that's going to mess things up, and the dangers of all that. And maybe Jod, that'll be a way for Jod to get on the good side of KB, who is still very much untrusting of him.
Yeah.
So that was a very interesting note. So yeah, again, this episode, Jod takes the spotlight. Nothing much to see. I like the comedy throughout this whole prison escape sequence. Again, Wim claims they're not protectors, but he's doing everything besides protecting and just beating people up. Very fun. The funny part though was after they all do like the whole prison escape, they get to the ship, they're in, they're good, they're ready to go, and then the kids are like, "Oh, so he's on the computer. Jod's on the computer." And the kids are like, "Okay, before we go to hyperspace, we got a droid too that we got to get him back." And they're like, "Oh yeah, Jod, help us get the droid back." I'm like, if I was Jod, I'd have been legit pissed. I'm like,
you didn't on the way
that. Like, I would.
We walked 2 miles.
It was so fucking funny. Jalen and I were laughing so hard because I'm like, if I'm Jod, I'm like, listen, I'm trying to be nice here, kid, but we got here
for a day.
You're right. Like, we were in the prison cell together. We escaped together. We were talking along the way. None of y'all, all 4 of y'all, didn't mention a droid. And now you're putting pressure on me? Like, you don't trust me? I got you guys out of there. And now you're going to blame my character. Because at this point, they're arguing like, hey, aren't Jedi supposed to be protectors of, like, men? And he's like, oh, the droid's not a man. That was a pretty good joke. And if I'm John, I'm like, fuck you guys. But you know what? He's like, okay, fine. I need to get some good social capital with them. If I can save the droid, maybe I can get some social clout with them, and maybe they'll trust me. They don't. I mean, half of them still don't. Yeah. But either way, he goes back for the droid. And this is where it's confirmed to us by one of his other lieutenants, I guess, from his previous job, that he is Captain Salvo. He's like, oh, Captain Salvo, whatever. And at this point, the port is in chaos because they realize the captain has escaped. Yeah. So he has to be even more on high alert.
That one, crew member he was having a rapport with, was played by Alpha Merlina. That was fun.
I heard about that. Cool. If I would never have guessed that.
I didn't clock it, and I was like reading the credits because I was like, do I recognize Kim's name for the credits? And then I saw Alpha Merlina, and I was like, where?
Where's the girl?
What girl?
What the girl? We should commentary Force Awakens. Just do it every year.
Like, I'm sure it'd be just as fresh every time.
Probably. So yeah, not much of this scene. It was pretty cool. Seeing Jod like have to work his like social magic. I was getting some like intense stuff. I was like, is the guy really gonna rat on him? And he kind of does it at the end, but like it was a pretty funny scene. I like when he booted up Shmi, and it's like, are you the droid? Is like, who's asking? Okay, so you're the droid. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So again, I'm really liking the comedy in the series so far. I think of most of these series, the comedy is really working. So they get back to the ship. All's good, basically. One of my favorite moments of this episode is like, they're discussing where they should go next, and Jod is like, I got a friend who might be able to give us some information. So they go to hyperspace again, and Fern's like, I'm not tired. Just like, okay, whatever. And she passes out. And we get this cool, quiet moment throughout this episode where the kids are just knocked out, hanging or sleeping, and Jod's just like quietly walking the ship. I thought it was a very interesting part of this episode where the beginning half was all chaos, prison escape, jabs back and forth between the kids and Jod. But this was the one rare quiet episode that I kind of liked. It was like just a quiet episode. Jod's just like walking the ship. It was very nice. I love it when a show, when a show gets a chance to just breathe and it's not just like one beat after another, which I think a lot of these Disney Plus shows fall victim to. But it was cool. And I think it really, how do I say this? It really captured Jod being like this parent to the group, even though he's kind of like not that position yet. And he's like kind of getting his bearings. He hasn't been in space in a long time. He's been in jail for a minute there. And he comes across like the dead pirate that was like stabbed against the wall, and kind of like takes a look at it. And I think it was kind of like a short, I wrote in my notes, kind of like a short symbolism. If I can just glean anything from this episode, I don't know if I'm reaching or whatever, but like it's a short symbolism of like, if he continues down this path of like untrustworthiness, lies, adventure for the sake of adventure, he's going to end up like that pirate glued to the wall with the dagger in your chest. Like, it's not going to end well for Jod. And I think this is the time for him to take some responsibility, just like he is responsibly taking care of the kids in this scene. He fed them.
Well, he fed himself first, but he made an abundance.
He said, hey, go feed some. Go have some food for yourselves. And they were like scavenging that food. It was pretty funny. So yeah, I think, again, just to reference it again, his main arc for the show should be, and I think it is going to be, akin to like Peter Pan in the Robin Williams one, where it's just like he has to grow up. He just, that's it. He just has to grow up, take responsibility, can't continue living this life of adventure, lies, deceit, because if he does, he'll just end up like a dead pirate. And now he has Wim, who in this episode alone is looking up to him, whether it's Jedi or not. Like, he believes that Wim believes Jod is of a higher purpose, and because of that, Wim really looks up to him, and Jod should take some responsibility for that as the adult in the relationship. And he does come clean at the end of the episode, but I think this is the time for Jod to set a good example for Wim. Because if Wim wants to follow this route too, it's like, don't do what I did, kid. Don't just become a pirate captain who is like who lies and gets like thrown in the brig by his own men who don't believe him, and then you could easily die, Wim. This is your time to like grow up, be responsible, that kind of stuff. So I'm very curious again to see more of the Wim and Jod dynamic. We didn't get much of it this week, besides Wim just believing everything Jod said. So we'll see now that Jod's like, okay, I'm alone, I'm helpless. Like, what does Wim do from here? I think Wim's still going to like him a lot because that's just who Wim is. And Wim, again, like we said last week, Wim wanted it to be a pirate ship. Wim wanted Jod to be a Jedi. well, now Wim knows that Jod isn't a Jedi. So what's Wim? Wim's still gonna want Jod to be like a good guy.
Yeah.
And we know Jod's not. And before the series ends, Jod's gonna make a lot more mistakes.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see how the kids react.
I'm sure they'll get into situations where Wim is going to be like losing faith in Jod, championing like everything a Jedi is supposed to be, and Jod's eventually going to take it hard.
Like, yeah, it's like, dude, I'm not a Jedi. What do I have to do? Like, come on, dude. Like,
but you should be.
Yeah. He's like, even if you're not a Jedi, you should still be a caring person, right, Jod? And I think that'll hit Jod hard. His heart will go 3 sizes.
Should get that looked at.
Yeah, that's a big heart. So the kids leave. The kids pick up. Neil questions what their parents do. We talked about that already. But then Jod mentioned, hey, I got a person named Kim the Owl, or I don't think she goes by Kim the Owl, obviously. But they meet Kim, Kymm. And Jod immediately says, like, hey, we shouldn't trust her. And immediately you're like, okay, so she doesn't trust you. And then we get that, like, parallel where we get some communications even before Jod arrives that, like, hey, Captain Jack, they say, is on his way.
Sparrow.
So, exactly. But apparently there is, like, this 80s, 90s comic character called Captain Jack.
Like Crimson Jack, is it?
Crimson Jack, sorry.
Noah tweeted.
What?
Noah shared. He has.
Noah, friend Noah. Yeah. Which is crazy. I was like, oh wow, what are the odds? And apparently on Star Wars Explained, he said, Alex said that Captain Jack was in one of the Halcyon Legacy comics. Halcyon Legacy is like the ship that's based off of in Disney World, Star Wars World, whatever it's called. And they made a comic series about that. Set during the sequel trilogy, and apparently Captain Jack, or whatever it's called, Crimson Jack, is alive during the sequel trilogy. So
okay, he's out.
He's out there. He's a real character. But they meet Kim, and this world, though, really well done. I think the show did a great job capturing the look of this world. This is all volume, but hey, it looks really well done. There's a great wide shot as they're like walking the surface of the moon, basically. I just really love this whole setting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm a sucker for silhouettes.
Oh, me too, dude. Great silhouette, great backdrop, and really capturing that special Amblin adventure vibe, like that one like straight line. It was really cool. I really liked it. Absolutely. She reveals, again, basically everything we talked about in our mystery segment, but like she reveals Ad was hidden away during the Old Republic 1,000 years ago. But besides that, what we didn't talk about, she narrows it down. She takes a look at Fern's jacket, which has some kind of like symbol on it. Fern explains like, hey, this is a symbol from what my mom does, some kind of special agency. And I think Kim narrows it down by saying like, this kind of insignia is only used in this segment of the galaxy. So not only are they like kind of like time stamping where Atten's from, they're narrowing down on like the segment of the star map where Atten could be. Which is very interesting. So they got a little like they narrowed it down because again the galaxy is huge. So they had to narrow it down, obviously. And it's cut short though. Because Jod's got a stinky feeling, and he reveals like, "Hey, Kim's communicating with the Republic." But the funny thing is about this whole escape sequence, first off, Kim explains how don't trust Jod. He's lying to you. He's only in it for like the money. Blah 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 blah. And of course, Fern and KB are listening to that. Meanwhile, Neo are kind of like, okay, they don't know who to believe. I think basically all the kids don't know who to believe at this point. They don't have to trust Jod. But from my example, from my perspective and from the kid's perspective, is like he kind of wants to go to our planet too, so it doesn't really matter. And the interesting thing is like she's like, hey, stay with me. Kim says, stay with me. The people I call the Republic, they'll help you get home. And Jod responds with like, "Hey, they'll keep you. They won't help you get home.
And
I will help you get home."
I was sitting there and I was like, I mean, we know it's like the Republic, they would help. Absolutely.
They would, but also like we know from Mandalorian from Mandalorian season 3, it's like that red tape that went on during Coruscant, like they had a whole episode about like how what's your deal with that? Okay, just put that in the file. Like click clack, clickety clack clack. It's like you want to think the Republic will help them out, but like it's not going to be as like ASAP as much as like what Jod is. And again, the kids haven't been out of the galaxy for so long. They're not used to seeing a lot of aliens, for one thing, as we learned last week. And this week, when they meet the Republic, we get a sequence of them, cut to they get into the ship and start firing at the Republic ships. It was just weird seeing kids fire at the Republic. It's like seeing kids fire back at the police. It was just weird, but the kids aren't familiar with the New Republic. They're not familiar with these, peacekeepers per se of the galaxy. So it just made for a very interesting dynamic seeing the kids shoot back at the Republic. It's made for a very interesting escape sequence. They're not shooting at like pirates, they're shooting at the New Republic.
Yeah, I was watching that scene. I was like, oh, okay, these kids could murder right now.
Right? Like it was weird. I was like, it was like, oh shoot, like oh whoa. Like I
almost got one. And it's like, you shouldn't.
Yeah, I was like, I almost got one. It's like it just made for a very weird. None of that was bad, of course. It was just made for a very weird perspective of like the kid having this joyous experience, but in the reality of it all, it's like, hey, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I've seen young Anakin blow up droids, right? Inanimate, droids have life form, but B1s that are pre-programmed and all that. The slapstick of the universe. There's also B1 in this episode, and I was like, can we keep them? They're so funny.
Yeah. So it was very interesting. The kids like really don't know what to do with Jod here. But before they get onto the ship, by the way, was it beforehand where they get to the where he admits that he's all alone? That was before the escape sequence.
That was before they got on board. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So before that, I wanted to mention a couple of things I missed. During that night quiet moment sequence, KB was the only one that was awake. And I did like that scene. That was a one-on-one scene between KB and Jod, where Jod's like, "Are you awake right now?" Because KB had like the visor over her head. It was a very cute scene. Yeah. And that's really where
I would have stayed silent and played it off.
Yeah, I'd have been like, just looked at him. Not much to say here, but I like KB more and more. That scene just gave us a little bit of her inquisitive nature. She's pretty much like Fern's very brash, Wim's very like gullible and just very chaotic, and then Neil is just like along for the ride. But I mean, I guess I should give Neil more credit. Neil's also like pretty much like not unsure of certain things as well. He's not as gullible as Wim. But KB here with this quiet moment where she's just talking to Jod, it's like she's more inquisitive than we think. And even as they're leaving the Kim's place, Kim pulls over KB, not anybody else. She pulls over KB, and she tells KB, like, hey, really, seriously, you watch out for Jod. He's not out to protect you. So I just like that KB getting the focus here in this episode. I'm really starting to like her. And then, but then I think before they leave again, KB, when they get to the ship and Jod admits he's alone, he's just like you guys. I think that's a big part of this episode and the series. He is just like them in more ways than once. He is a childish pirate because he's just right now after treasure. And again, at the reference, his arc is going to be about growing up because right now in his arc, he's a child. He's just like them. He admits as much. I'm just like you guys. I think that it alludes to he wants adventure, he wants freedom, but I think he has to learn to, just like Wim, grow up. And I do like how KB says, I think she says, because I think Jod mentioned wanting to have a partnership. But KB's like, no, you work for us. Is that right? Is that what she says? Like, yes. Like work for me now, something like that.
Yeah. Jod works for the crew.
Yeah, Jod works for the crew, and she kind of uses Smee SM33 to like back her up, which is funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jod works for them. We'll see how that dynamic works out in the next episode. Because again,
Yeah.
he can't cook for them, he can't fly for them. So who's working for who?
Yeah. I mean, there was a big moment where he's taking evasive maneuver, right, and everyone's like, "Hey, whoa, slow down! Hey,
Yeah,
friend's like, I'm the captain here," and he's like, "All right, captain, get in the
yeah,
car seat."
yeah. Again, I'm just one of the bright spots of this show is just the kid dynamics, and with Jod in the picture now, it's like really elevating like Jod's dynamic with all these kids. It's really sweet and funny and cool. I
Absolutely.
really like it. And then again, the beauty of the show, the escape sequence was very well shot. The shot of them like pulling down towards the surface and then pulling up, like getting on the light side of the moon before they can go to hyperspace was really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. That's about it for me. I think that was like the end of the episode.
Post credit scene.
There's
Did you buy it for a second?
no. I'm like, I'm not that bad. I stayed towards the end of the Star Wars episodes at least.
Did you stay for Craven's post credit scene?
I did not, and I tried to be loud with it. Like, should I scream to the high heavens, like, "Hey guys, don't stay, don't do that to yourself."
So petty.
But there was like half the theater that was staying. I'm like, oh, they're gonna learn today.
I learned. There's nothing.
Yeah, you didn't hear any clink, clink.
Well, no.
So yeah, that's it for Skeleton Crew. So far, so good. Again, it's a series that doesn't have a lot of depth to it. That's pretty basic, but I'm enjoying the fun. It's a fun ride. Not a lot to hate. And I've seen a lot of people who have kids who are really liking the show. I think Hello Greedo said like his kid really enjoys Skeleton Crew. So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah.
And on the same vein, Skeleton Crew, Jonathan Watts did say like if they ever were to do a season 2, there would be some kind of like time skip. They would be down to do a season 2.
Okay.
I think he mentioned like I think he alluded to like they would like do some kind of time skip or whatever because the kids are constantly aging.
Yeah. That's always a good move.
Let me make that sure I'm not making that up. But going along with that, just hearing the words Skeleton Crew in season 2, I'm just like, man, it's like I really want Acolyte season 2. Let me see here.
Well, Evan, I'm glad you said that because that brings us to today's sponsor. We don't have a sponsor, but we are sponsoring. I didn't realize this website existed. I should have. SaveTheAcolyte.com is a thing which has a full collection of all the resources that we originally had individually listed down below, all neatly stored within a link, very clear and concise in even more ways, not only ways to help, but different important articles in regards to the full gambit of everything that we've experienced with what's happened with the Acolyte, crew members who have spoken out in regards to the events, their hopes for the future, fan arts available, different events they had. Like what I didn't even realize in the end of November, they had they rented out a billboard for a few days in Times Square playing Save the.
Yeah, I've been retweeting that as much as possible whenever the billboard's like, hey, because there's somebody I follow that like retweets like whenever the billboard has the Acolyte on there. I'm like retweeting like it's out there in Times Square. I mean, there was controversy about it because some people were like, should fans be spending their money, doing this? It's like fuck off. It's fans put the money towards that because for a cause. It's like, is this a cause we should be fighting for? Fuck off. Anyways, I'm so glad that the people are, Save the Acolyte people are still out there, still going strong. And this week in particular, as we near the end of the year, there's tons and tons and tons of outlets, media outlets having the Acolyte as like number 1 in terms of like most disappointed cancelizations of the year, most disappointed news stories of the year, the Acolyte getting canceled, as well as end of the year list. It's December 13th, 14th now. A lot of TV media outlets, journalists out there are doing end of the year shows. Screen Rant, Collider, IndieWire, Variety, doing end of the year shows, whether it's 25, 15, 10 shows. Acolyte is making its way on there as like the Acolyte in terms of like, I think Screen Rant, I just saw it recently, was number 23 out of 25 best shows of the year. The Acolyte's on there. And again, 25 shows of the year. It's huge. There's hundreds of shows come out every year.
There's been best episode as well.
Exactly. Night was rated best episode, I think specifically on IndieWire. The Acolyte episode 5, Night, was rated one of the best shows of the year. For me, it definitely is one of the best shows of the year. I think the run of episodes 5 and 6 is very underrated. I love episode 6. I think it's as good as Night because it's just Osha questioning herself and getting angry for the first time. I was like, oh, I love this. So 5 and 6, of course, is great. 7's flashback is really good. And then 8, I think it's one of the best Star Wars finales ever. It's very wholesome, heartbreaking, great action, everything I wanted from Osha's character journey. Hope for the next season that now is not happening as of right now. So yeah, I think if anybody wants to keep on supporting the Acolyte, there's always ways. Go to the SaveTheAcolyte.com. Follow me and Nathan on Twitter because I'm always retweeting Save the Acolyte stuff. So there's always people out there.
Yeah.
But again, going back to Skeleton Crew, Jonathan Watts did say we 100% have an idea for a second season, and we know what we would want to do. We have built in the ticking clock. We have a built-in ticking clock of the kids and their age. And by the time we would get production going, we know what their age would be. Just for reference, right now, most of the kids are like 11 and 10.
Yeah.
And so we would want to be writing towards that. The audience, will be growing up with the kids. It would be something like a 3 to 4 year time jump to make sense. We haven't seen the kids in a while as of the writing of this article. So it just depends on how tall the kids are. But we wouldn't do like a Stranger Things thing where it's like the next day because it won't be. It's funny. Yeah, Stranger Things does like the opposite where it's like 3 years. I think the final season is going to be different because they're finally going to do a time jump. But like the difference between season 3 and season 4 was like a week or something like that. Or like a new school year. It was like a few months or whatever. And it's just like they look way older.
It functioned all right in the first 2. 3, you kind of box. It was like we're skipping a whole school year and going straight to summer. And I was like, okay, sure, growth spurts and whatnot. But then they went back to school, and I'm like, you guys got to be seniors, right?
Yeah, but no, they're not.
No.
So it's funny. But that's interesting. I like that they are thinking about that. And yes, Skeleton Crew got delayed. It filmed a while ago. I think because I was watching some of the like red carpet stuff, and I'm like, this looks way different than what the kids are right now. So it's like, I think the kids. It's 2024 right now. It's supposed to come out last year, so I think they filmed like 2022, 2021, something like that. Yeah. So it's like, it's been a while. So they're probably like 9 or 8 when they filmed this. Because now they're like 11, 12, 13. Around that ballpark. And by the time season 2 comes out, they'll be 15. So, or something along those lines. Let me just double check again the age of the cast. Skeleton Crew. Cast. Looking up Ryan. Ryan Armstrong plays Fern. She's 14 right now, born in 2010. I'm old.
You're born after JJ's Star Trek? Excuse me. You're born after the housing crisis.
KB Kiriana, I think I say your name. She does not have an age on Google. Good. She's young. Let's see. The person who plays Neo, does not have an age I can find either.
He's immortal.
Ravi plays Wim. Can't find his age either. Fern's the only one I can see here. So if she's 14, maybe because she has the most like film credits compared to the rest of the kids. But let's see. If she's 14, then everybody else is probably like 14, 13 as well. 12 maybe at the earliest.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just the future of Skeleton Crew. Other Star Wars news before we wrap up the show. Jeremy Allen White, star of The Bear, winner of numerous Emmy Awards, comedy awards. The awards keep racking up for this guy. One of the most sought after young actors in Hollywood today. He is excellent in everything he does.
A great facial actor.
Great facial actor. His eyes emote a lot, as people noticed in The Bear. And I loved the boxing movie, buddy. What was the name of it? Nathan, help me out here. The boxing movie.
The wrestling movie?
Yes. What?
The Iron Claw.
Iron Claw. Exactly. Iron Claw was fantastic. What a heartbreaking movie. You saw it, right?
I did. I didn't really see any marketing for it. I was just like, what good Zac Efron Oscar potential. Let's go. And I went in and I was like, all right, cool. Oh, you're in this? All right. So,
and you walk out in tears. Yeah.
Like every like 20 minutes, I'm like, oh, fuck, that sucks. All right, let's see like the greatness of Red. Oh, fuck. Well, we're gonna about shit.
Shit, fuck.
In Japan, everything.
Right. So he's great. He's great in that. Yeah. Jeff Snyder had a scoop. I think it was like Tuesday night or whatever.
I thought I was having a stroke.
The funny thing is, I watched his video with Christian Harloff. He was like, Christian, I know you're a huge Star Wars guy, so I had to do it on your show. And Christian's like super excited. This is like a comedy. This was like an SNL.
I should really look it up just to see.
It was funny. It was like an SNL skit. And he was like, and I didn't know what the news was either. I'm like, okay, what's happening here? And Christian starts off by saying, like, so you're saying Jeremy Allen White is now in a major Star Wars movie. And Jeff's like, yeah, he's in a Star Wars movie. And Christian's like doing the math in his head. He's like, well, there's only one Star Wars movie that's in like post-production now, and it's Mandalorian and Grogu. The other ones haven't even started filming yet. Is he in Mando and Grogu? And Jeff's like, you got it, buddy. That's the one. He's like, oh, wow. Okay. Who could he be? It's like Jeremy Allen White. So I don't know what the hell.
Is he in Mando? Could he be like in a crime syndicate? Like,
yeah, is he a bounty hunter or something like that? But he was just like, I don't know what he could be. And then Jeff Snyder was like, well, he's doing a voice role. Christian's like, wait, what? Voice role? And then he has like this right? And then Jeff pulls out like this envelope and he opens it up and it says like, yeah, it's weird as hell. He pulls up the envelope, it opens up, and it's like Rada. Just says Rada the Hutt. I think it's either Rada or Rada the Hutt. Either way, Jeremy Allen White confirmed to be playing Rada the Hutt. If people forget, I think should we pull up who the fuck Rada the Hutt is for people who might not know?
I always said Rhoda. Maybe
what?
It's Rada. We said Rhoda.
Is it Rhoda?
Well, no. I feel like every time it was in the movie, they were like Jabba's son, or if they said his name, it was in Huttese.
You're saying like you don't know if they've ever said his name?
Yeah, I don't know because granted, I knew it from Lego packaging.
I think they say it in the Clone Wars movie, right? Am I wrong?
I'm sure they do, but I don't know if it was just like in text form, or if it's ever actually spoken. Because a lot of times it's just Jabba the Hutt, you know him? Yeah, his son. They got his son.
That's my boy.
But that being said, Evan, I mean, I'm sure he'll do well. The boy.
Yeah. This is weird. So, this is Rada from the Clone Wars movie where he was first introduced. He was also then seen, I think, was he in any of the episodes of the Clone Wars?
No.
Maybe not. Yeah. So,
matter of fact, I mean, the movie is Clone Wars episodes combined, but
Yeah, I do not like the movie. I know something. I know there's some fans out there like, oh, Rada the Hut enjoyers. It's like he did absolutely nothing for me. I don't like the movie at all. I think
I like the introduction of Ahsoka to Anakin and him being like, "What the fuck? What?"
yeah. I mean, I honestly forget their first interaction. I can't even. I think
Yoda's there. It was his idea.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's very funny. Like
Maybe
my
he's not there.
memories, my memories of the Clone Wars, like I think it's like starts from like the Malevolence arc onwards. Even though I do my rewatches, like I rewatched the Clone Wars all the episodes before what me and Dylan we watched them all for something. I don't know why. We rewatched every episode of the Clone Wars.
I remember being on Cartoon Network for the very first episode, and which isn't actually the first episode. And I'm like, "What? Yoda's with clones and fighting Avenger? What?"
Yeah, I remember that was an awesome night. Like my dad, Jalen, and I, we all got together and we made a tradition like to watch every episode of the Clone Wars together.
Heck yeah.
Out of order. Now we realize, but still,
Yeah.
it didn't feel like that watching it live.
I was reading replies the other day. Sorry, I was reading replies the other day of like people's experience with the not chronological, and someone being like, the way I had to rack my brain of watching Padme's Rodian uncle get shot and then be in the next season.
Would that happen?
I guess so. Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, heir apparent to the Hutt Empire, Jabba's infant son was barely old enough to slither before his conniving and power-hungry great uncle Zero already had him marked for death at the time of the Clone Wars. Zero arranged for Rada to be kidnapped or Hutt-napped as part of an elaborate scheme to discredit the Jedi Knights and prevent them from entering an alliance with the Hutts. I guess this was part of the movie. Zero the Hutt was, of course, in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, there's a couple episodes there.
Especially with the Cad Bane episodes.
Interesting voice.
Exactly. Had that raspy country voice.
Very interesting drawl.
But yeah, this is very funny on Dave Filoni's part. I did not expect Rada to be in the Mando and Grogu movie, but it's a Filoni / George Lucas creation. Yeah. No clue what. Apparently Rada's gonna be buff. That was a thing that was told. You saw that as well, maybe.
Confirmed.
I don't know if it's confirmed, but like I think Snyder and some other people did say like, "Oh yeah, Annie's supposed to be looking buff in this movie."
No one's gonna kidnap me again.
So we're gonna have a buff Hutt, I don't know what role that can play. You know, the Hutts are always important whenever we get to criminal underworld underbelly stuff.
Yeah. I don't even know what the plot is.
You know, I think recently, one of the Imperial Shadow Council people from season 3 confirmed that they are in Mando and Grogu or something along those lines. I forget what happened, but I just remember seeing a headline of like a Shadow Council person being in Mando and Grogu. So we know, we don't know what the movie's about, but like the basic premise is obviously where was season 4 going? Oh yeah, they asked Mando to help them out with any Imperial remnants, and then that's what the movie is going to be. Like,
it's probably just going to be Council. It'll probably be a tee up to Thrawn as it was. That season.
That'll be starting season 3. They're going to be.
But he's out there.
He's back, but I think Thrawn will be a post credit. Actually, I don't know this stupid Mandoverse. Like,
Thrawn will be.
Wait, say it again. Your mic messed up.
I mean, I know Thrawn will be the antagonist of Filoni's movie because this is Favreau's film.
But Filoni was working on this. He couldn't even work on Ahsoka right now.
Yeah, he absolutely is. I just mean like it's actual like facing the threat of Thrawn is going to be a later conjuncture.
Which goes into like we know what was the operation that they were working on in the season 3. I did not like season 3, so I forget the name. But it was like some kind of a shadow plan, Operation Resurrection, I think was it called, something like that. it's more teasing of Palpatine stuff, but
Necromancer.
Operation Necromancer maybe, but like they're obviously teeing up Thrawn. But would they tease Thrawn in this movie if he's going to be the antagonist of Ahsoka season 2? And then, because like I think the order of events is Mando and Grogu, Ahsoka season 2, and then Filoni's movie, presumably.
Yeah.
At least mapping out the Mandoverse timeline. So it's like, would they tease Thrawn? I think so, because Filoni loves teasing bullshit. And
Well, we got the whole thing with the
yes.
fucking the father, the son, the daughter, the Force. Mortis.
Mortis, thank you. But yeah, Mortis is the arc. Mortis is the arc for Ahsoka, Sabine, and the two evil people that I liked. I can't remember their names.
Balin and
Hati?
Shin Hati. Balin Skull.
Balin Skull, Shin Hati. They did Shin so dirty in that series, bro.
There's time. There's another season.
She was so potentially interesting, and both of their characters, Balin included, got like squandered when they got to that planet. It's just useless. They had some cool scenes when they were like talking by themselves about like whatever, but then
Balin better be possessed right now. Why you just ditch your Padawan so quickly?
Made no sense. Anyways, back to Mando and Grogu again. The plot's gonna be like him versus some Imperials. Maybe he needs some of the Hutts' help for some location gathering. The Republic can't do this, but at least the Hutts got our back. The Hutts can have access that the Republic can't.
Yeah.
Especially the Republic being so messy bureaucracy-wise.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day because, with every different Star Wars project we've been seeing, they're very good at doing the practical costumes with a lot of the different creatures continuously. Like I can't really think of the last CG creature that was like in any of these like shows or like a Mando timeline stuff. And I was like, all right, cool. And I remember they finally brought Hutts back in the Book of Boba Fett, and they were CG, and I was like, they're not terrible, but I'm just like, I was so like keen of like, if you ever do Hutts again, please do the puppet, because Jabba's puppet is amazing. I know it took like 9 people to operate, but god damn it, you're Lucasfilm, you can afford it.
They're gonna make him CG.
Yeah, they probably are, which unfortunately.
I'm with you though. So we'll see. And this Mando and Grogu movie is just not exciting me in the least. But at least Doomsday is that month, which is also not exciting.
They gotta move that, right? Come on.
I think it'll be fine. One's at the beginning of the month, one's at the end of the month.
Be fine, Evan, because they did that to Solo after Infinity War.
But again, and Solo failed. But Deadpool was 2 weeks after Infinity War.
Yes,
it made $800 million.
Which is such a curveball because it's R-rated. So it's god damn it.
And Deadpool made so much money. Solo had no excuse besides its own. Nobody wanted Solo. But
we wanted it.
Yeah,
after.
I
wanted it during. I like it. I like everything, damn it.
We do too. I mean, I do too, but it's like audiences are like, they don't want a Solo movie. I think they will want a Mando and Grogu movie, which is why I think it'll be fine 4 weeks after. So hell, like look what we just saw this year with The Wicked and Moana. They both coexist. Like if your movie is what people want, it should coexist. It's summer season.
Sure.
Every movie is going that summer. Every movie is going to have to deal with a movie coming after it. Especially 2026 is stacked. Steven Spielberg, Christopher Nolan have movies a month apart from each other. Like summer is going to be crazy. So if you don't have the goods, then you're going to bomb. But I think Mando and Grogu, it's easy. It's a Star Wars season 4. Like people are going to want it. And they can't delay it to November or December because I think. Well, we just talked about Star Wars moved away from its December 2026 date, but currently it's what did we say? I think Ice Age or something like that is coming out in December. December 2026 is packed for some reason.
Yeah.
I forget what it is. Some kind of WB shit.
Avatar is coming, isn't it?
That's 2025 and 2027.
Oh, we're getting
No,
Avatar next
Avatar's next year is 2025 and then 2028. I think is the next Avatar.
year. Okay.
Let me double check. But as I do that, Avatar 4 is 2029. Damn. Yeah, 2029. And then 2031 is Avatar 5. Jesus.
31?
31.
How old is Jim?
Jim's going to croak before.
No.
Sorry, Jim.
He'll never make another movie.
No, he's 70. Never mind. He's fine.
You
He's
never
70.
know. I mean, he's rich as hell, so he probably has.
He's 70 right now. In 2031, he'll be 76, 77.
I mean, he's smart, man. He's
and Ridley Scott's like 86. Ridley Scott's like 87. That fucking guy is mad.
I love the way he said that. It's just like, how is he still doing it?
That's wild. 87.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, let's end the show here on some happy news. Kind of happy. Ben Solo.
Okay.
Next year, we are getting the Legacy of Vader comic. And we got some interesting developments here. Let me pull up the image and screen share it. So it's to be written by one of my favorite Star Wars authors, Charles Soule.
Hey.
Charles Soule is one of the head writers of the High Republic. He did what's it called? He did the Light of the Jedi book. He's ending the High Republic. I forget what the Legacy of the Jedi, something like that. So he's a big famous Star Wars author, and the credits name themselves. He wrote the entire comic series. Oh, there we go. He wrote the entire comic series of the Star Wars 2020 run that started after Empire Strikes Back, in between Empire and Return of the Jedi. He wrote all 50 issues. So Charles Soule is like a lead. I think he even got promoted. He's like a lead writer, creative writer within Lucasfilm. Like, he is doing a lot. And next year is his next big thing. It's called The Legacy of Vader. What Ben Solo was going through in between The Last Jedi, best Star Wars movie, and The Rise of Skywalker. Right after he is heartbroken. I think one of the log lines for this series was like, he lost his love in Rey. It was like confirmed love attraction there. And he just became Supreme Leader after killing his master. And he just got defeated on Crate. So he lost his love, Rey. He lost his master in Luke and Snoke, and got defeated on Crate. What is going on through his head in between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker? And this is one of the images here. But you'll notice he's back in his Ben Solo gear. This is something that he wore in, if you read Charles Soule's other Kylo Ren focused miniseries called The Rise of Kylo Ren, with the same author, Luke something. But same artist, same writer in Charles Soule. He wrote The Rise of Kylo Ren, and in one of those issues, he did put on some kind of Ben Solo persona when he was out with the Knights of Ren, kind of like wearing like this Han Solo vibe there, right after he destroyed Luke's temple. I think it was like issue 2 or 3. But either way, I recommend reading The Rise of Kylo Ren before reading this. They might have some parallels. And of course, one of the main parallels is the Knights of Ren. We haven't seen a single image with the Knights of Ren, but obviously they are alive during this period of Kylo/Ben's life, because they are even more prominent in the Rise of Skywalker. So yeah, this is a very interesting image right here. I'm just like, what's going on where the Supreme Leader is wearing these clothes? Like, what are we getting here? let me see if I can pull up Mark Benacchia. He's one of the main Star Wars Marvel editors. Let's see. I think, yeah, here's the one right here. From issue 2 of The Legacy of Vader, we got another image of him on a speeder. No idea what's going on here. Very,
Twin
very
sons?
curious what's going on. Twin sons
sons
in the background. Could he be on Tatooine?
Maybe.
It could be a thing. Could be a thing.
It's so good.
So yeah, let me see. The art is by Lucas Ross. There we go. Here, Luke Ross. One of the most prominent Marvel comic authors or artists ever. So yeah, Luke Ross, Charles Soule, they're back at it again, and this is also from issue 2. There's also a cover. I wonder where the cover is from. No, this is from issue 1. Legacy of Vader. Look at that, Mother Anastasia. Hey. Love that one.
Is this going to be the greatest comic for?
But yeah, it's one of my most anticipated comics. I also retweeted like Rise of Kylo Ren or whatever this comic is from. Legacy of Vader. Let's see, Kylo Ren.
Was it the half and half?
Yeah. I'm trying to find the half and half. Found it.
Oh.
Okay, let me bookmark this. Okay, bookmarked.
Be careful about your bookmark.
It's fine. Here it is, right here.
It's amazing.
So that looks stunning. I really love that, and this is official. I think, yeah, this is an awesome cover for.
You gotta put that on your
again issue number 2. Yeah, I really do. So yeah, I'm just super excited. It's gonna get into, of course, what Ben Solo was going through between TLJ and Rise of Skywalker, but like his legacy with Vader is still being grappled with during this difficult time in his life, and I'm really curious to see how Charles Soule writes that. We only got a year between TLJ and Rise, but there's so much story potential, and this just goes into, Nathan, like, it's like so much storytelling potential that we could have had post Rise of Skywalker with Ben Solo alive, wearing this same garb, wearing the same Ben Solo gear. Like,
he could have flown the Falcon. I know, I drew it.
It was good. He could have flown the Falcon. He could have been on with Rey or by himself. Whenever I think of an awesome redemption storyline, I think of Zuko alone in season 2 of Avatar, one of my favorite episodes ever. And we could have had Ben Solo alone. Imagine a novel, a comic, a TV show, a movie. Less likely because Adam Driver, I think, is done. But like, maybe not. I think Adam Driver is a very pragmatic person. And get the right director or writer on board, I think he would gladly come back as Ben Solo.
The man who's doing silly Amazon commercials right now, I think, would do.
Right? Yeah, for sure. And he just loves Star Wars. He loves the character. He's not like a Harrison Ford, for example. And even Harrison came back.
It's like you wouldn't, he's done, a lot of fun stuff. He did a couple of different skits for Star Wars on SNL. You wouldn't see Harrison do something like that, I don't think. But Adam, look at him.
Exactly. So it just gets me really upset. I'm like, JJ killing him off. Like, I was upset at the time, obviously, but we're 6 years away from that now, or 5 years away from that now. It's just like the more I get from it, like the idea that this comic is coming out, it was just like, it just reminds me of like so much story potential that it just has gone to waste because his character is like gone. Like, his character has an endpoint, which just sucks. Like, I'm so happy.
It's especially sad because we know like Rey's film is coming.
Exactly. It's like
if he was there.
Rey's story, whether it's like we just made a whole episode about how Rey is like the focus of Lucasfilm's next future. And granted, like, she shouldn't have that pressure on her.
No, but like, dude, the fucking combo.
Just imagine we could have like a Reylo movie, just like Ben doing his shit, Rey doing her shit, but them having to come together for a common goal. It's like, I was like, it's right there. It's right there. And I swear to God, guys, if I'm at Lucasfilm, I'm bringing him back. I'm bringing him back. Now, granted, I'll obviously ask Adam Driver, do you before I put pen to paper?
Yes, okay.
You got to ask Adam Driver, like, would you want to come back? Because if not, then your whole story is wasted. But even if Adam says no, which I doubt he would, but if he says no, cool. We'll still bring Ben Solo back and put him in tons of comic books, just like we're getting with the Legacy of Vader run. Put him in tons of comics, put him in tons of books. People would eat that shit up. Like, it's just the idea that his character is dead just cripples Star Wars storytelling potential with one of its most fascinating characters of all time in Kylo Ren. It's just it's so aggravating and sad generally.
Really?
So yeah, it just goes into like whenever I love something in Star Wars, whether it's Ben Solo or the Acolyte, it's like whether it gets canceled or the character just dies, I'm just like everything I love is like falling away, and I'm left with The Mandalorian and Grogu, May 2026.
You'll be there.
I'll be there. Night 1 on Thursday night, 7:00. I'll be there.
I mean, just as equally, I'm watching Rise of Skywalker, and I'm like, oh, I went right back in.
Me too.
But you know, and then I went back the next day, and I was like, oh. And then I'm like, I don't think I'll go Saturday. I wish I did, but I experienced the crowds. But I skipped Saturday, went back Sunday.
I remember I kept watching it like, is there some good in here? And there is. It's not an awful movie, but it's just
we're very Stockholm.
We are 1,000%. But I still contend this year, Stockholm aside, this year really did put a hit in my Star Wars enjoyment with the cancellation of The Acolyte. Because I think that show had like 5 seasons. That could have set up the next 10 years of Disney Star Wars TV on Disney Plus. Yeah. They really could have.
Even if you have the naysayers who are like, well, you just need better writing. It's like, well, then what is the example? I guess we have Andor, that ending.
I hate that. It should have better writing. It was like, okay, well, imagine an Acolyte season 2 trailer with Manny Jacinto just like powering up a red lightsaber. People would just shut up anyways. They'll watch it anyways.
Yeah. You're not getting Plagueis now,
right?
Your fault.
Like, if you didn't like what was in season 1, maybe if you gave it a chance, like just the idea of canceling something and being happy about it is just baffling to me. There's tons of stuff I don't like.
Shows that are like, you know, the first season is iffy. That's not an example for us here with the Acolyte, but you know, other shows they have rocky starts, but then like they hit their stride, and then like, oh shit, they have 9 seasons. That's amazing.
Like Parks and Recreation is the biggest one for me.
Yeah, Parks and Rec, Office as well. And a lot of NBC.
And even if I don't like something, I would never want it to get canceled. I just won't watch it.
Yeah, I really wish all the people working on it were unemployed.
Yeah, like what the hell?
Weird.
But I'm glad a lot of the actors are coming out. Like the Jodie Turner-Smith said, like she would love to come back as Mother Anastasia in the future.
Yeah,
season if possible. But that's about it. You guys can find me on Twitter, Harris EV9. Talking all things again. Acolyte, save the Acolyte, renew the Acolyte. You know, I'll be screaming about it from the high heavens in Japan next year. Of course, that's about it, I guess. Oh, I finished reading a High Republic book called Tears of the Nameless. Excellent book. I just continue to love and adore everything the High Republic related. And sadly, it is ending next year, but I'm hopeful for the next big book initiative for Star Wars because the High Republic has given me so much faith in Star Wars storytelling. That's about it, though. Harris EV9.
Follow me _Time Blazer, making a show called Time Blazer with co-starring Craig Consultant Evan Harris.
Playing the character Ben. I was like, why am I blanking on my character's name? Playing the character Ben Solo. Who would also really like for Ben to come back in Star Wars.
Absolutely. Hey, you know, stuff's happening. I mean, I've been emailing
Oh shit!
I've been emailing people for music rights.
Wow. Okay.
Now, grain of salt. I did reach out to Warner Records for a specific Linkin Park track, and I've been back and forth with them for a little over a week now.
I didn't know
Now,
they just respond to you.
yeah, representative. Well, first off, it was like a person, and then they were like, "Oh, this is more their department. Let me go and pair it to you right now." And then they were like immediately like, "Hey, what's up? Oh, this that okay." And then they paired me over again, but then I've been in consistent contact with this person.
Cool.
And there's like a whole thing where it's like, here's a documentation to fill out of like all the info of like the individual things and the usage and like so many hoops that you're like, not hoops, but like outlines of detail that you're like, okay, writing like, what's the context of the scene, how is it used, would it be on any other social media, what is your volume of audience, stuff like that. And I'm like, I'll apply all that. What's your budget? And I'm like, Now, granted, this is licensing a Linkin Park song from Warner Records. That it's like, I know I'm not going to be able to afford it, but I want to know what is the price point to know in the future what it is.
Yeah, that's funny as hell.
It's very funny. I did get, but another artist I did reach out to. They AOK'd the usage, and I was like, let's fucking go. They were just like, you could use it, just credit. Have fun.
Perfect.
Let's go. So yeah, that's in development again. You think I'm not cooking? I'm cooking. I'm thinking I'm cooking. That being said, if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you like button, subscribe, and already ring the bell so you miss all future coverage on all things Star Wars. And that being said, hope you have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.